Hey everybody, it's Joshua Fields Milburn from Minimalists.com, and today I'm going to talk about how to start a blog. 8 years ago, my best friend Ryan Nicodemus and we started a blog called Minimalists.com. Since then, it's been featured in the New York Times and Time Magazine and ABC and NBC and NPR and a bunch of other places all over the world. It's led to us reaching more than 20 million people. And so today, instead of letting you wander around aimlessly when you're thinking about starting a blog, I wanted to give you the exact recipe that we were able to develop 8 years ago and update it for today's standards, obviously, so that I can help you in 7 simple steps on how to start your blog. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. So let's say you've thought about starting a blog to communicate your thoughts and express your feelings to the world. Now, let's say you're overwhelmed with all the options and you don't know where to start. That sounds about right, doesn't it? Good. That's exactly where I started 8 years ago. Here's the biggest lesson I've learned when it came to starting a blog. It was so much easier than I initially thought. I thought I had to know about coding and HTML and everything that it took to be a web developer and designer, but the truth is I didn't. I didn't need to know any of that stuff as long as I knew what the recipe was. So I spent many hours, dozens, if not over 100 hours, trying to figure out how to cobble together a blog, but I didn't need to know how to do that. And so I'm going to help you learn today from all of the bad lessons that I learned over the first several months of trying to put together a blog. And so what I hope is that this video is going to be your step-by-step guide, and by the end of it, you'll be ready to start your own blog. Before we get started, I think it's worth noting that there are several free platforms out there. You can go to Blogger or Tumblr and you can start your own free blog, but most serious bloggers, in fact every serious blogger that I know, uses something called WordPress to set up their blog. It's what I use for Minimalists.com. I've used it for the last 8 years because it gives me the most creative control, the most creative freedom, and it helps me design the look and feel of my blog so it can look exactly how I want it to look. It conforms to my vision, and it gives me the tools necessary to make that possible. Let's talk about step 1. This is just the preparation step. You're going to need 2 things for preparation. This is really easy. You got to have a credit card or a debit card so you can pay a small monthly fee for hosting, no matter what hosting company you go with. And then second, you're going to need about half an hour to an hour to set up your blog. In all honesty, you can set it up in less than an hour, but give yourself an hour so you don't feel any pressure. Step 2, domain name and hosting. Your domain name is an important part of your blog. It tells people who you are and who they're visiting, right? So if you go to our website, a domain is just your URL, right? So if you go to www.theminimalists.com, it says a lot about where they're visiting. But before you go off and register your own domain name and pay a yearly fee for that, first you'll want to set up hosting for your blog. Now, I personally use a company called Bluehost for hosting Minimalists.com and also several other websites that I own. And there are several reasons that I recommend using Bluehost to host your blog. First off, it's the hosting company that I use, right? And I don't think I should recommend a company that I'm not willing to use myself. Second, they have phenomenal customer service. Anytime I have a question or if I feel like I have some sort of issue, they're able to take care of it right away. And third, you get a free domain. So Bluehost, instead of having to buy your own domain and spend 10, 15, 20 bucks, they will give you a free domain. So whatever www that you want for your website, you don't have to worry about all the fees that are associated with purchasing a domain. The fourth reason I really like Bluehost is reliability. Their facilities are absolutely world-class. Fifth, they've got this money-back guarantee, so if for some reason you're not happy within the first 30 days, there's no risk. They'll give you 100% of your money back. And last, they have really great pricing. And in fact, if you use the link that we have here in the video, it's got the whole step-by-step process of everything that I'm going through here today. If you go through that link and then you go to Bluehost from there, they'll even give you a 50% discount, which is on top of their already great pricing. All right, so the first thing we did was go to Bluehost and then click the Sign Up Now button. This will take you to a screen with a couple options here. Select your web hosting package. There's a few different packages to choose from there. You'll notice that most packages range from $5 to $7 a month, depending on whether you want 12 months or 24 months or 36 months of hosting. And you get a huge upfront discount the longer you're willing to commit. So if you know, hey, I really want to try this blogging thing out for a couple years, then of course they give you a bit of a discount, right? If you still need to register a domain, if you don't have a domain yet, you'll be able to use the left box followed by your desired extensions. So .com, .net, or .org. And if you're having a hard time thinking of a good domain name, I've got a few resources in the blog post that talk about different ways that you can come up with a really good, catchy name for your blog. On the next screen, you'll need to fill out some personal information. All right, I'm going to type in my information here. My first name's Joshua. My last name's Milburn. You can put your business name in here. The Minimalists for me. Go down here and put in your street address, city, state, zip code, phone number, and your email address. And at the bottom here, you're going to see some extra options. You're going to see domain privacy protection, search engine jumpstart, site lock security, constant contact, that's an email provider. Now I tend to recommend having as few add-ons as possible, but you can choose the options, these additional packages that you want on this screen here. All right, the next thing I do here is just plug in my billing information, my credit card number, the expiration date, and then you want to click the confirm button and click submit. And now it just says, welcome to Bluehost. Congratulations. Now, after you complete your registration, you'll receive a confirmation email, which will give you all the information that you need to proceed. And we'll be able to move on to step 3 here. Step 3 is you install WordPress. Now, don't worry, it's so much easier than it sounds. Besides, really, when we say install, all we really mean is make a few clicks. You're not really installing anything, right? All right, now go back to your browser here and click on Create Your Password. Now you can either create your own password if you know what you want to pick, or you can have Bluehost select the complex password for you. And then just agree to the terms and conditions and click Next. And then if you click the login button here, then WordPress will just start installing in the background. The next screen here, you'll see different options. We're going to scroll to the bottom though, and we're going to click Skip this step. After you wait for a moment, your WordPress install is complete. Congratulations, you've now installed WordPress on your blog. See, that wasn't very hard, was it? All right, step 4 is selecting a theme for your blog. Now, what's a theme? A theme allows you to control the specific look and feel of your blog without the need for coding expertise or design knowledge. In other words, a good theme will help you design your blog exactly how you want it to look. And if you're not a coder, believe me, I am certainly not a coder, then a theme makes the design work a million times easier. The company we use for our theme is a company called Built. We'll put a link to that in the blog post as well. And the theme that you may be most interested in is a theme called Essential. You can take a look at all the themes that they have available over there, and you find one that's going to suit whatever you're trying to accomplish with your blog. All right, step 5. This has to do with installing your theme. Remember how easy it was for you to install WordPress? Well, installing your theme is even easier. All right, now you should already be logged into Bluehost, but if not, you can just go to my.bluehost.com and log in with your username and password. Now, once you're logged in, you'll find yourself at this dashboard. Just click on My Sites and then log into WordPress right here. Now from the WordPress dashboard, just click on Appearances and then Themes. And then right here, you'll see this Upload button. And then at the top of the screen, you'll see this button that says Upload Theme. Click on Choose Your File. And this is the file you downloaded when you purchased your Built theme. Now, for some reason you don't have that file, just head on over to built.me, log into your account, and download the file again. Next, just click on Install Now. And in just a few moments, you're going to see this verification screen that says your theme has been installed successfully. All we have to do is click Activate. And that's it. WordPress is now installed, and so is your beautiful theme. All right, it's time for step 6. These are the plugins. Let's talk about what plugins are exactly. Plugins are third-party sort of appendages that add additional functionality to your blog. So you're able to take your blog and do so much more by adding individual plugins that you need. Now, it's For me, I found it's best to keep the number of plugins to a minimum and only install the best plugins. And here's the good news. If you used Built to install your theme, there's some recommended plugins they'll give you depending on the type of theme that you selected. So finally, once you've figured out what plugins are going to work for you, and of course you can always add more on later as you figure out and you start tinkering with your website, you're going to want a way to have your writings, your blog posts reach other people. You can have people subscribe to your blog. And so you can set up a free account with a company like FeedBurner or MailChimp. We'll put a few links to those in the blog post as well. There's also a company called Constant Contact. And quite often, up to the first few thousand people on your email list, those services are free. Now, as your blog starts to grow and you have thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of readers, you may have to pay to send out emails, but that's really up to you what service you decide to go with. We'll put a few resources in the blog post for you to take a look at there. All right, step 7. I call this step tinker until you are finished. Now here's the good news. You're done, right? You're done setting up your blog, but this is actually where the fun begins. Now that you have your own blog, it's time to make it your blog. You get to turn your vision into a reality. And so you start to experiment with various color palettes, and you can add a photo of yourself to your website. Here's a little pro tip for you. You have a professional website, you're gonna want a professional photo of you on that website because people identify with people. They don't identify with little egg avatars. They wanna see you for who you are, right? You can also spice up your blog post a little bit with stock photos. We've got a few recommendations in the blog post for you as well. There are a few places you can go to get free stock photos, like Paul Jarvis's website or Unsplash. There's also some fee-based places you can go, like iStock or Shutterstock, that if you want to get photos for your blog, there's some great resources in there for you. Next, here's an important step. Determine whether or not you want comments on your blog. I know for the first few years on our website, we used comments, and it was a really great way for us to communicate with our audience, but also help develop our writing and figure out what was resonating with people and what wasn't resonating. Over time, though, sometimes it becomes a lot to manage. You can always turn on or turn off the comments. You can also send comments to social media, so you can have people comment on Facebook or YouTube or somewhere else where you know there's built-in comments already. One other thing you're going to want to do from your blog is link out to any social media accounts you have. So maybe you're on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. That way people can go to those platforms and follow you there if you so choose. Here's a little personal note though. Don't focus too much on social media. It's totally okay if you're not constantly adding to the noise. If we really want to focus on creating, the blog should be the main hub of creation, and those social media platforms will help augment our experience of creating on the blog. All right, I think the second to last thing I should mention is you're going to keep tinkering with your blog. So you'll get the look and feel that you want, something that is good for you now, but realize that will change over time. You don't have to spend too much time obsessing over your blog. Once you have the right design in place, just let it go and start creating. That's really the most important part of all of this. So the last thing I want you to do is start producing meaningful creations that are going to add value to the audience that you are going to garner over the years. All right, y'all, that's all I've got right now. So I really hope you have a lot of fun building and experimenting and exploring what you can do with your blog. If you want some additional resources, you can check out the blog post that we're linking to here. It's got all the step-by-step instructions on how to set up a blog, and then of course some additional resources, some other links on how you continue to grow your blog over the years. Thanks for listening, y'all.